Pointers to direct enlightenment. One of these pointers might lead to enlightenment. Listen, for this is not a matter of the mind. Your search is not one of intellect, not a game of finding answers among the noise of your thoughts. Enlightenment, the liberation you seek, is right here within you. You do not attain it by seeking, but by understanding, by seeing that what you are searching for has never been hidden from you. So, breathe. Pause for a moment. Let us begin again, not by trying to arrive somewhere, but by recognizing that you have always been home. The illusion of the seeker. Have you ever questioned this notion of the seeker, this identity you hold as someone seeking truth? Who is this I that says, "I want to be enlightened"? You, the seeker, may believe that enlightenment is something far away, something that must be achieved. But have you questioned who or what it is that is seeking? Who am I? This is not just a philosophical question. It is the key. Who is this one asking the question? Is the seeker different from the sought? Can that which is infinite, which is truth itself, be found by some small, separated part of itself? Perhaps you have heard this pointer before, but let it sink in deeper. The seeker is part of the illusion. It is not that you, as an individual, will one day become enlightened. That which you truly are, pure awareness, has always been free. But awareness has been veiled by the identification with the body-mind, with this idea of, I am a seeker, I need to find something. The first step, if it can be called a step at all, is to question the validity of the seeker itself. Can you find this I that is seeking? When you search for it, when you try to locate the one who wants liberation, you will find that it is a thought, an idea, nothing more. The false identification with the body-mind. Feel the sensations in your body, the pulsations of life, the subtle movements of your breath. Your mind has identified with this, hasn't it? I am this body, you think. I am these thoughts, these emotions. But is this true? Look closer. The body exists in awareness, does it not? You are aware of the body, you are aware of the thoughts that come and go, you are aware of the emotions that arise. But if you are aware of them, how can you be them? There is something subtler, something more pervasive, that is aware of this entire play. It is always there, always silent, always untouched. Your body is like a wave in the ocean. It rises, it falls, it moves with the winds of circumstance. But are you the wave? Or are you the ocean itself, vast and unfathomable, from which the waves arise and into which they dissolve? The body and the mind are not you. They are expressions within the totality of awareness. You have identified with the transient, but you are the eternal. The nature of thought. Now, let's turn to the mind. The mind, so active, so noisy. Have you noticed how thoughts seem to arise without your permission? They pop up, unbidden, and demand your attention. Thoughts about the past, thoughts about the future, thoughts about your spiritual quest. But let me ask you, are you creating these thoughts? Can you predict the next thought that will arise? Observe closely. Thoughts come and go like clouds drifting through the sky. But you are not these thoughts. You are the vast, open sky in which they appear. This is a fundamental pointer. You are not the mind. The mind is merely an instrument, a collection of conditioned patterns. It is constantly churning out thoughts based on past experiences and learned concepts. But when you see that you are the witness of these thoughts, and not the thoughts themselves, you will begin to feel the freedom that is your true nature. Consider this. The thoughts that say, "I am not yet enlightened," are just thoughts. They have no inherent truth in them. If you can witness those thoughts, then who is witnessing? There is a space beyond the mind, beyond the play of thoughts, where pure awareness resides. That awareness is you. The nature of experience. You may believe that enlightenment is a grand mystical experience, something that will happen to you at some point in the future. But let's examine this idea of experience. Every experience you've ever had, whether profound or mundane, has come and gone, hasn't it? The mind is always chasing the next experience, believing that the next one will finally bring lasting fulfillment. But this too is an illusion. Enlightenment is not an experience. It is not something that happens within time. It is timeless. Experiences arise and pass away, but the awareness in which those experiences occur is changeless. You are that awareness. Do not look for enlightenment as an experience. Instead, recognize that every experience happens within the space of awareness that is always present. You do not need to seek out some special state. In fact, the very act of seeking keeps you in bondage because it perpetuates the idea that you are incomplete. Instead, ask yourself, what is present right now before any experience arises? What remains constant no matter what the content of the experience is? This is the direct path to realizing your true nature. The concept of doership. You may believe that you are the doer of your actions. I must meditate, you think. I must follow a spiritual practice. I must purify myself. But who is this I that believes it is the doer? If you observe closely, you will see that actions happen on their own. Thoughts arise on their own. Emotions come and go without any effort on your part. Even the desire to meditate or seek enlightenment arises spontaneously. The belief in personal doership is one of the strongest illusions. It is the idea that you, as an individual, are in control of your life. But look at your experience. Have you ever really been in control? Or has life simply unfolded, moment by moment, without your input? This realization can be liberating. When you see that there is no personal doer, the burden of seeking falls away. Life becomes effortless. Actions happen, but there is no longer the sense that I am doing them. You are simply the witnessing presence in which all action takes place. This is not fatalism. It is not about passivity or inaction. It is about recognizing that the ego, the sense of individual doership, is not real. Life is lived, but there is no one separate from life who is living it. The surrender of the ego. Surrender. Such a simple word, yet so misunderstood. To surrender does not mean to give up or to submit in the way the ego imagines. It means to relinquish the false sense of separation, to release the identification with the individual self. Surrender means to let go of the illusion that you are a separate being in control of life. What would it feel like to surrender this moment? To give up the idea that you need to do anything to attain enlightenment, to let go of the need to be someone on a spiritual path? Surrender is the dissolution of the ego. When the ego is surrendered, what remains is the natural state of being. In this state, there is no striving, no effort. There is just the simple, effortless awareness of what is. Surrender is not an act of will. You cannot force it. It happens when you realize the futility of the ego's quest for control. It happens when you see that the ego, the sense of personal identity, is nothing but a bundle of thoughts and conditioning. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to? What is it that believes it must control life? And then, let go. Let go not as an act of will, but as a natural release that comes from understanding. The timeless presence. Enlightenment is often imagined as a future event. One day, I will awaken, the seeker says. But time is also part of the illusion. There is no future in which you will become enlightened. there is only now. This present moment is all there ever is. It is in the now that you discover the timeless truth of your being. The past is a memory. The future is a projection. Both arise in the present, in the space of awareness that you are. The mind is constantly moving in time, but you, as awareness, are beyond time. Ask yourself, what is this moment, free of any concept of past or future? What is here, now, before any thought arises? In this question, you may begin to sense the stillness, the silence, the presence that underlies all experience. This presence is who you are. The final understanding, non-duality. The ultimate truth is non-duality. There is no separation, no distinction between the seeker and the sought, between the individual and the universal. All is one, all is part of the same, boundless awareness. The mind creates divisions, but in reality, there's only the seamless whole. This is not something that can be grasped by the mind. The mind deals in concepts, in distinctions, in separation. But non-duality is the direct experience of oneness, of wholeness. When the mind quiets, when the identification with the ego dissolves, what remains is the pure experience of being, free of all division. Non-duality is not an intellectual understanding. It is the direct realization that you are not separate from anything. You are the ocean, and the waves that arise are just expressions of the ocean. You are not limited to the body-mind. You are the entire field of awareness in which all things arise and dissolve. Practical reflections for self-inquiry. As you move through your journey, you may find these questions helpful. Who am I, beyond name and form? Can I observe the thoughts without identifying with them? What is the nature of the I that believes it is the doer? What is present here and now, before any thought or concept arises? Am I aware of the body, or am I the awareness in which the body appears? What remains when the sense of personal doership is surrendered? What is timeless in this present moment, beyond past and future? Ask these questions not to find answers, but to dissolve the questions themselves. Each one points back to the ultimate truth, that you are not separate, that you are the awareness in which all of life unfolds. Enlightenment is not something you attain, it is what you are. It is the recognition that you have never been anything else. So, rest. Rest in this knowing. Stop seeking, and simply be. You are already that which you seek. If you like the content here at Telos, please consider to subscribe and hit the notifications bell. To support the channel, buy me a coffee, link in the description, or send super thanks from the menu below the video. From the bottom of my heart to all of your hearts, I thank you for your support.